Don't worry, Who fans. Carl Williams was busy last week. Coach Bennett and Coach O'Connor have each signed extensions. We will talk about the extensions, a UVA baseball recap, and our thoughts on last week's interview with Tony Covington. Give us a follow and a like, and we will talk about this and more next on the Cavalier Connection. Welcome on into another edition of the Cavalier Connection podcast. I'm your host, Jack Lowe, joined as always by Jay Ballard and my dad, Jeff Lowe. How are we doing tonight, guys, Jay?
Doing fantastic.
Yeah, we're doing great. I don't know if Jay's mouth's moving. It's moving now. It's moving now. I thought it was a ventriloquist. I thought he was some ventriloquism going on. I didn't see his mouth move when he talked.
It could have frozen for a second. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good myself. Had quite the shenanigans going on over the weekend with some wiffle ball. You know, as my dad and Jay know, some mug shots were taken. That's all you need to know about that. So
no one was arrested, though. I don't want people to get the wrong idea.
No one was arrested. That was a bit out of context. But we had some fun at my graduation party playing some wiffle ball. We saw the old guys moving around again. It was a great time. So appreciate
I
both
still
of you guys
got it.
that on. Jay, I didn't know if we were gonna have to take Jay out of there on a stretcher. It's the bottom of the first inning. He's rounding third, coming home, and you see the tumble of a lifetime.
When you're running in flip flops, it's a risky business at 4+.
Make sure you tune in until the end of this episode. We may have video or we may not have video footage of that.
Oh boy, I haven't seen it myself, so if it is, that's fantastic.
You got to stay tuned to the end if you want to see it.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah. So, getting back on track here, since basketball season has ended, there were some stresses about Coach Bennett's contract situation being only 2 years left on his deal and no extensions. Well, an extension has been signed. Jay, what are your thoughts on the contract extension?
Well, when we were guessing about Coach Bennett maybe not being back because he only had 2 years left, you know, a lot of people said, oh, this is just not even a story. It's dumb. He's going to re-sign. He's staying, obviously, blah, blah, blah. And Jeff and I, I think we were both kind of on the same page thinking, you know, you just don't do that as a big-time D1 coach, Hall of Fame coach. They were right, and we even, you know, we said we hope we're wrong. We love Coach Bennett. We want Coach Bennett to be here forever, and just glad that the program will continue to be one of the top programs in the country because he has proven that he can do that. And you know, I read where he was really focused on rebuilding the roster, and he certainly did that through the transfer portal. And, you know, I'm just really glad and I'm happy for the program. I'm happy for all the fans that we're going to have Coach Bennett seemingly for quite some time. You know, nothing says he still could decide, you know, he's had enough, but this at least allows you to go into a recruit's living room and say, I'm going to be the coach for a long time. So just really happy to have him back for many years. I think it goes to 2030, and then if he's still the head coach in 2026, it rolls over to 2031. So we've locked him up for a really long time and well deserved.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. He's locked up to 2030 and 2031 if he's still there in 26. I mean, just don't read the Augusta Free Press, and we wouldn't get caught up in the moment. It did make a little sense. I'm glad I was wrong. You know, there's still no guarantee. I mean, they still have it sitting out there that as long as he's the coach in 26, then it extends to 31. But when you go into a recruit's living room and can say, you know, I'm locked up for till 2030, 2031. That's 7 years from now. So that's a couple recruiting classes, full recruiting classes. So that's huge. We're excited. Tony Bennett's sticking around. I think he was recruiting like he was going to be around, because you see Virginia is linked to a lot out there. Anybody who follows anything UVA on X sees Virginia's name is out there for a lot. And the work he did in the transfer portal, had to tell you, there's a good chance if he's wasn't going to be the coach, then it had to be somebody on staff, because these guys, it's not our normal 5th year graduate transfer. We're getting young guys in here other than Worley who have years of eligibility left. And if we can get Coach Bennett with these guys and that amount of eligibility left, to be able to develop these kids into playing the style that he wants to play and playing that tough, hard-nosed defense, and maybe a little bit of change to his offensive philosophy. And great things to come. Tony Bennett's won a national title, and we've said it before, he gets to decide when he wants to leave. So
Yes.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, no, I was kind of in the middle of the whole situation. I was partly like, yeah, this is very concerning, because only having 2 years and you don't do anything about it, that's, when you're one of the best head coaches in the country, that's very weird. But at the same time, I was kind of like, I think I had said, like, this could be us just overreacting, and this could just be something simple that's going to get resolved at some point. And it did. So I can't say that I was one of those that Jay said was right. I could say I was in the middle, though. I could have seen it playing out either way. But I'm glad it happened. Very, very glad it happened. And not to mention Tony Bennett, we also had Brian O'Connor, who's been very successful with the baseball team in his time here, also got his extension. So, I mean, Carla Williams is just handing out contracts. You sign, you sign, you sign. And I think not that this is as relevant for UVA fans, but they just brought on a new rowing coach as well to replace the old one who just retired. So, I mean, she's just working hard, and we love Carla Williams around here. You guys have any thoughts on Brian O'Connor?
Yeah, of course, he's locked up to 2031 as well. So, Carla, if you read between the tea leaves, I think Carla Williams, she's going to plan to retire in 2031. That'll be our next episode, 2031, Carla Williams, last year. No, exciting to get Coach O'Connor. 3 of the last 4 years, Virginia's been in the College World Series. Virginia baseball has just been something special. Unfortunately, the season came to an end this past Sunday versus we lost to Florida State. So, unfortunately, we've lost the last 3 times. We've been 0-2, but we're getting to that College World Series, and talking about it, it's just the pitching actually came through for us in the whole NCAA tournament until the game against Florida State, and they just hit the ball, and we just could not, our offense just could not get going pretty much the whole tournament, like how it had been during the regular season. And tough way for it to end, but O'Connor coming back, that's huge.
Absolutely. Yeah, baseball is a game all about rhythm. And, when your offense is rolling, the worst thing you can do is have a few days off. And, you get in that tournament and you're out of the rhythm of playing 3 games in a row on the weekend and then a couple weekday games in the middle, or at least one. And, no excuses. You're also seeing the best pitching in the country. But to make Omaha 3 out of 4 years, and Oak's been there 7 times, he's every bit to baseball Tony Bennett is to basketball. And he's, been around. I don't know if he's been around as long or maybe even a little longer. They're really close in time frame. I think Oak's been around a little longer than Bennett.
Yeah, I believe he has.
But just keeping that same momentum going. If you look at the recruiting classes coming in, they've already signed VMI's ace out of the portal to come in next year. And, they said this last year, and I'm sure that they said it the year, 3 years ago. But you get that taste. But you get a guy like a Henry Ford, and you just feel like he's special. And you put the guys around him that are also, pretty special. And I do think this team has a real shot to get right back. It's hard to win a national championship. That was one of the things, and I know obviously a whole nother level, but when I was coaching at the high school level, one of the things that the AD reminded me of is the other guys are getting paid to try to win too. Because, you guys know that I have a little bit of a competitive streak, and take it personal when you lose. But I mean, I feel like you have to almost to really push yourself to win. But he's gonna keep winning and keep winning on a large scale, I think. And we're fortunate to have him. I hope that Tony Elliott turns into the O'Connor and the Bennett, for football. So we'll see.
Yes,
no doubt. And I was gonna say a quick shout out: Griff O'Farrell, Gold Glove winner, shortstop. So that's pretty big. Then we had a couple tough break stories this week. Cullen McKay and Chase Hungate. I think he just announced today, right? Or yesterday?
I think it was yesterday for Chase.
My days are running together. They're both entering the transfer portal. I know McKay started out strong this year and then struggled. And Hungate, though, was huge in the NCAA tournament. Yeah. He pitched, I think, 8 innings, maybe gave up 1 run, 8 1/3, and 1 run in the tournament. He really, held things down once the starter came out. So a couple tough losses. Hopefully, you said, we got the ace from VMI coming in. Virginia's always going to be able to retool in baseball. O'Connor's the next man up. So
yeah.
McKay
went from being the Friday night starter to not even getting on the mound. I don't know if something happened physically where he was not able to pitch or just struggled. Jay kind of went through. Woolfolk went through a spell last year where he went from pitching a lot to not pitching at all. I was really hoping because McKay showed a lot of potential early in the year. I mean, he was mowing people down. That's why he went to the Friday night starter role.
All right.
And he's got a lot of potential. And then, Chase, that sidearm is tough coming out of the pen to face the team. I got to see him pitch when we went to the Georgia Tech game, and I think that was his longest outing of the year. I think he went like 5 1/3.
So he was our Who of the Week that week.
Correct. And I reached out to him. Hopefully he'll get back to us. I'd like to talk to him and just see, where he's going and, kind of why he made the decision, because everything points to he'd have a big role on next year's team. So I saw somewhere, and I don't know if it's true or not. But I saw he had read he had a brother at Florida State. I don't know if that's anything. I don't even know if that's true, but I read it. So if that is true, maybe he wants to play with his brother. I don't know.
I would have thought they would have mentioned that in the Florida State game, and they potentially did. Sunday being Father's Day, I was in and out, and I was watching the game. I watched the first hour on TV, and then I was watching the game on my phone, and then the wheels fell off. And Father's Day, we had some other things that had come up, and so I was doing a little grilling, and so I didn't really.
You mean Jack wasn't grilling for you on Father's Day?
I was umpiring. Thank you very much.
Not even with your father.
Yeah,
Jack, come on.
This is the father-son time. We have the podcast every week.
Yeah. So anyway, great season still. I had to defend. Crazy enough, Jay.
Oh God.
And, this just tells you. This is the.
I already know what's coming.
But who would have to defend this statement. Virginia baseball is garbage. They're no good.
Oh my gosh.
Can you believe that I had to defend Virginia baseball to a comment like that this week?
That's idiotic.
I was there for it. I
It's
was
clearly just idiotic.
So this particular individual told me, they quickly like to come to me. Of course, they want to say something. Yeah, Virginia baseball is just no good. I'm like, Virginia was in the College World Series. We were in the final 8 baseball teams. Yeah, but once they get against guys like that, Virginia played in. He said they didn't play anybody this year. I said Virginia played in the ACC. Yeah, but how come they only played Florida State once? Virginia doesn't make their schedule, number one. Number two, we played in the flipping ACC. There were 4 ACC representatives and 4 SEC representatives in the College World Series. Furthermore, yeah, but I'm following that Tennessee team. Okay. Last year,
and I can attest to this.
I don't go into all these things. It's whatever. But last year you followed the LSU team. So I can jump around like this too. If I want to go, I can go team to team as well. And SEC is just better baseball. Listen, I don't care. Virginia lost. Yes. We were in the College Flipping World Series. Okay. We were one of the final 8 teams. And guess what? This program's not garbage. This team, 3 out of the last 4 years. That's the craziest talk. I knew the talk was coming. As soon as he started saying to me, Jack looked at me because I had already predicted it before we got there. And it came just like I said.
Can I say you just start throwing out crazy stories or crazy comments about their teams and like just seeing if they know anything at all. Or just make up something and just see
so this person's knowledgeable. He's knowledgeable.
How can a knowledgeable person make a statement like that?
No, I know that. But what I'm saying is he knows pitchers and players and the whole thing. He watches. So don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is knowledge about who these players are. And yes, Tennessee's a great baseball team. So yeah, no doubt. But just because we're not playing for the ultimate prize coming up this weekend, we were one of the final 8 teams. We were 5-0 coming into the College World Series in the NCAA tournament. Yeah. We beat Mississippi State from what conference?
Yeah.
The SEC.
The SEC.
Right. We beat who did we beat? Whatever. Kansas State in the Super Regional. So don't give me that Virginia is a garbage program. Like we're no good. Come on.
That sounds like a young man's take. I like I said after we lost.
It's a take of the same age, about the same, maybe a little younger than me, but that's about it.
That's sad. I get frustrated but I don't know. I wasn't even mad on Sunday. I wasn't even mad. I was just like, we ran into a better team. I think Florida State was actually better than us.
I do too.
And I mean, if you can't, ultimately only one team's going to leave Omaha happy.
Right.
So if you go there with the mindset of win or it's a bad season or you suck, then you're going in with the wrong mindset.
There's only one team that didn't suck then every year in all sports.
Yep.
No participation trophies here.
No, none.
But anyway, that was my annoyance level. I knew it was coming, and I was prepared for it.
Must I say, thank God we didn't know this person back when the 16 seed loss happened. Because my God,
I don't think he cares too much about basketball.
He knows we're UVA fans. He'd
find a way to get us. That sounds like a Robbie Powell move, but it won't Robbie Powell.
It wasn't Robbie Powell. No, it was But that was something. So, but I think that's about all we got on baseball. Is that right, guys?
Yeah, move on.
Yeah, sure. Move on. So last week we had the pleasure to talk to the UVA great Tony Covington. Phenomenal interview. If you haven't checked it out, pause this, go watch that, and then come back because that was one of our best interviews in my opinion. So there was a lot of content to unpack from that interview. Jay, I wanted to start with you. What are your thoughts on the Tony Tony Covington interview. Wow.
Woo!
Well, I appreciated his honesty and his sharing with us.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't give us the announcer. I'm just going to say what I'm supposed to say. Speak, and I thought that was nice to hear. So things that that stood out that I thought when I heard them, I thought, wow, this is interesting. And I'm not going to steal them all, Jeff. I'll leave you a few, but I got to take my favorite one was Bronco's a quitter. You know, he quit on the program. I think the quote was something like, "A lot of people have a lot of love for him, but to me, he's a quitter. He quit on the team and quit on the program." Because I don't want to speak for you guys, but I think I know we were all Bronco fans.
At the time,
because I liked the fact that he ran a certain system, and you knew what you were going to get, and he was pretty consistent. You were in bowl contention every year, which at UVA, if you can go to a bowl every year, you're going to stay as long as you want to stay. And when he left the program, the entire offensive line left. And if Bronco stays, I think that year that Armstrong really struggled and we didn't have an O-line, which was Elliott's first year, that could have been a 10-win team if Bronco stays, in my opinion. Because I don't think those guys transfer if Bronco stays.
There's a lot of defensive players that transferred too. Like, Nick Jackson, the one who went to Iowa, right? Whoever went to Iowa.
Yeah, but I think he might have played for Elliott for a year. I can't remember if he stayed.
I think he played for Elliott one year and left.
But see, Elliott's first year
definitely
was
other names, though.
Yeah, Elliott's first year was so bad, and he acknowledged that in the interview. When Tony was talking about, but he recognized, that things weren't working that first year, and of course, he acknowledged that going through the tragedy was, he don't think anybody could have handled it any better. We've kind of said the same thing. Coach Elliott was the right person at the right time when that happened. And I don't think he could handle it any better than he did. And I've been a huge fan of everything Coach Elliott's done since that day. And even his coaching last year, while we didn't finish games, we were very close to being a 6, 7, even 8-win team potentially. So the comments about Bronco, and then the fact that we acknowledge that we need more dogs in the program, and I hope that some of these guys coming in from the portal can bring that this year, because you got to have guys that. He talked about Virginia Tech kind of owning us a little bit. We kind of, joked about that with him a little bit, but, they just have a belief when they play us. And as he alluded to, our coaches lose, not only the players, the coaches lose their minds. He's sitting in the booth thinking, what am I watching right now? Just like we are, because it's so different from the first 11 games of the year. It's like, what is this? I don't even know who I'm watching right now. And so, those two things really stood out. I could go on more, but I know Jeff's going to probably have. I don't want to take all of the good ones. So, Jeff, go ahead and
of course, the Bronco one was interesting to me. He said, he's a quitter. He quit on the kids in the program, and he said something else about maybe he wasn't willing to upgrade. So I don't know what he meant there. If there was
Jeff, so what I remember was Carla basically told him that you need to change your defensive coordinator. And he was not willing to do that. That's what has been in the message boards and people were saying back at that time. And basically he wasn't willing to fire his D coordinator, and so he made the decision to move on.
And Covington, when London was here, he liked to be a part of the program and the players and helping recruit and helping with having the alumni coming on board. And then Bronco came in. He said he felt like they were treated like he was more media, and they got a little closer towards the end, but he never kind of let him in. And then Coach Elliott came on board, and Coach Elliott was all about, let's get the alumni back in here. And, I think that's pretty big because there's some great UVA football alumni that could help recruit. Like he said, he named all those guys from the 757 and the 804. These guys can help get these guys into UVA. And then you talked about the Virginia Tech thing and needing dogs. It's funny you say that. So I was talking to my uncle this past weekend about that comment that Covington said. And my uncle always says this. My uncle Gary, he always says Virginia Tech, they bring criminals in. So he said, so what he's saying is Virginia needs a couple criminals to come take care of their criminals.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all saw, but speaking of alumni coming in, Elton Brown was in the facility, touring the facility.
I did. I saw
his
it.
family. So that was good to see. Friend of the show.
Yep. And so then, of course, he talked about quarterback battle, which was pretty cool. He feels like it's going to be a quarterback battle all off season between Musket and Calandria. And, brings up a good point. I mean, if Musket doesn't get hurt, we don't know what we have in Calandria. And we might not even have Calandria. He might transfer out. We don't know. So that'll be interesting to see. And of course, the big whatever the word I'm trying to say is, but how everything went down, and that he's no longer with the announcing crew, and now would be Ahmad Ball Hulk Hawkins and Matt Schaub. So he's just disappointed in how it all went down. But the one thing about him is he puts those feelings to the side. As far as he's still diehard, bleeding the blue and orange, Virginia fan. He wants the team to do well. He loves Coach Elliott, and so some interesting stuff. I know there was some back and forth. The episode was on the Sabre message board and on 24/7 Sports message board. There was some back and forth. I don't know. This was just the interesting one to me. And I know I texted Jay, I talked to Jack about it, was when, you have the likes on 24/7 Sports, and Robert and I liked our episode. So there's multiple things out there this could be. Number one, it's the fake Robert and I. Number two, which we like to think that's not it, but I believe it's Robert and I.
Yeah.
Number two, Robert and I just I was at Virginia. I'll just throw a like out there.
Yeah, Covington was my boy.
Yeah, I didn't watch the episode. I'll just hit like. But be careful what you like, because number three, he did watch the video and he liked it, and I thought him and Bronco were pretty tight.
Right.
And so that was quite interesting to me. Who knows? I just caught my eye. Look. Sometimes you see likes from people, and we like to see people listening to our stuff, and especially if it's somebody who's a former UVA athlete or great or coach that likes our stuff. That's pretty cool. So when I see, I don't just go searching to see who all these people are, but the stuff just pops up on X or the 24/7 Sports. It would make sense. So to access the message board, and I got this question for you, Jay. If you want to access the message board on 24/7 Sports, don't you have to be a VIP? Don't you have to pay?
So. Yeah, I think so.
Just a quick heads up, Jackie, we are VIPs. we get our content from Jackie Franchuli and her crew at 24/7 Sports. But on that message board, you got to be a VIP. So who would? I think it's
why would you make up the name Robert and I? Like you would make up, maybe you were Bronco,
or maybe there's multiple Robert and I's in the world. You never know.
Well, I'm sure there are, but I don't know.
It's very specific. It's oddly specific, though.
My thought is he did not watch the actual interview. Now, if he liked the short that I cut up, that was about a minute, that would be really something.
I mean, maybe he's watching right now. Maybe he's watching right now. Robert, if you are, we appreciate you.
To bring you on and talk. We'll talk NC State football and we'll talk UVA football and we'll talk Bronco Mendenhall. Yep. And whatever else you'd like to talk.
Yep. Spread offense. Let's talk left tackle passes.
But it's quite interesting. So there's an episode of the ACC Huddle that's coming out tomorrow night, and we were talking. I was with NC State talking NC State football, and we were talking about Robert and I and how we really thought. I really thought Brendan Armstrong was going to come out and do big things in that offense, just because Robert and I was going to be the coordinator. But it didn't all work out last year. So of course this year they got the guy out of Coastal Carolina, McCall, to run that show. So we'll see how that all turns out. But from Covington's interview, it was entertaining. I really appreciated him coming on, his honesty. The way he spoke about Virginia Tech is how all three of us speak about Virginia Tech. The little bit of rage that comes in our bodies when we play Virginia Tech is there. When you hear your phone go off because somebody's sending you a trash talk text message after you've just lost again, and you want to, it could be one of your friends and you want to bust them in the face at that point because you're ticked off.
At that point, I'm just ready to throw my phone off the bridge on the way back to U-Haul. Sorry, not U-Haul anymore, but the facility, the JPJ.
Yeah, no doubt. So anyway, great interview. Definitely have to check it out. Yes. That was a good one. And I believe Tony Covington, there's more to come for Tony Covington. So he's going to find his way somewhere. He talked about Jack and your favorite call. What's your favorite call, Jack?
The yes with the strip sack.
The strip sack. Yeah, the fumble against Virginia Tech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love that call. It gives me goosebumps every time.
You know what stinks is and as we talk about Virginia Tech. So when Virginia beat Virginia Tech that year, at Christmas or my birthday or something, my parents got me a shirt. And the shirt said something about, I don't remember what it said, but it had the final score of the game.
Or something like that.
The streak is over and final score of the game. Oh. And, I wore it, and I'm appreciative for it. However, I was like, this is kind of embarrassing. Like, we really have a shirt because we beat Virginia Tech.
I got the ODU shirt from where they beat Virginia Tech. My parents gave me that.
That's different. That was very different.
Yeah, that's a different story. Yeah.
That's a small school beating a big school. This is in-state rivals. They're both Division I football. They're both Power 5 football, or whatever it's considered now, since it's not the Power 5 anymore. This is a team that you should beat.
Yeah,
you should beat more than one time
more than one time in 15, 16, whatever.
Yes.
I'm going through it.
I was like, I can't get caught with this shirt on. Somebody's gonna get a chuckle off of me.
Yeah.
So. And the sad part is one day, if there is a day in my lifetime again where we do beat Virginia Tech, which, God, please be soon. It's not like, I mean, even if we do say something to those people, it's like, well, we beat y'all 15 years in a row. We beat y'all 16 of the last 17 years. I mean, what else can you say?
They got a big commitment today from one of the guys that we were in tight on, and I was hoping we'd land him. In-state defensive lineman, Cheese.
Yeah.
Do you know what high school he was out of, by any chance?
Stonebridge, I believe. I'm not sure on that, but I looked at his profile. I've been following him for a bit, and because he had visited Virginia, and but yeah, he chose to be a loser today. So
Virginia's in on a lot of guys right now.
A lot of guys, yeah. Hey, one big one, Messiah Delholm, wide receiver out of Warwick. I'd love to have him come in. He was a monstrous receiver when I saw him play against Kings Fork in the playoffs this year. So, hey, he's a 4-star. I'd love to have him come in. I think we made the top 6, if I'm right.
Okay.
And he's got offers from pretty big schools, so that'd be big. But
we got some guys on the peninsula that he can point to and talk to that had a lot of success.
He really does. Yeah. So, but hopefully there's more to come with recruit news. But yeah, we're in on a lot of guys. Again, just a little plug for her. if you want more information on the recruits and the recruiting, Jackie Franchuli, I mean, she has information on every recruit that visits, any recruit that's interested. I mean, you want any information on any recruit, potential commitment, go to her page, go to 24/7 Sports, because it is a lot of information there, a lot of useful information. So, but I think that's all we got for the Tony Covington interview. So I think we should transition here to, for those of you who don't know, basketball season is finally over with the NBA, with the NBA finals. And so we made some predictions a few weeks ago for what we thought would happen in the NBA finals, who would win and how many games it would be. So Jay, what was your prediction?
My prediction was the Celtics would win the series, and they did, so I was right.
So but how many games?
Oh, Jack, I mean, that's a detail that I don't exactly remember. I think I said 7, maybe 6, if I had to point to it.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Dad?
We'd have to rewind the tape. I don't remember. I had the Celtics winning, but I don't remember how many games.
Probably 6 or 7, though, didn't you?
I don't remember. I think you had 6 or 7.
So no. We're not gonna take away from my one. I wouldn't say gambling win, but basically gambling win.
Yeah.
So I had Celtics in 5. I said it from the start. I said the Celtics would dominate the series. However, you got to know the Mavericks aren't going to get swept. And I mean, I'm over here winning. I mean, I hope you didn't bet against me like a lot of people like to do, because you'd have been wrong. So.
I got to tell you, I wish I had one shining moment keyed up for him, because he got one right. It's a miracle.
Hey, once this next NFL season's coming up, it's going to be a fresh season. We're going to have a whole new standing system.
Look, here's the reality of what happened. I said Celtics in 7. You said Celtics in 6. So Jack said I got to be a little bit different, but I can't choose the Mavericks. I'll say Celtics in 5. Right.
Yeah, and he didn't have no choice.
And that's where he landed.
I could have taken 7 or 6. I decided to go my own path. Celtics in 5, and I was right.
Hey, look, Jack said there's a new NFL season coming, and it's a fresh start. That's what every NFL team says every season when it's 0-0, and then when they're 1-10, it's like, well, I'm looking to next year. I got a question.
That's the life of a Redskins fan right there.
I got a question for Jay.
Okay.
I feel like Jay might be operating on Jayton Ballard's fantasy baseball team this week.
Oh, is it going well?
He is. He's playing me, and I was like, God bless it. He's whipping my tail.
He may have hit the edit lineup for the week. They got it now where all you have is hit one button, and it edits your lineup for the whole week.
I didn't even know that.
It optimizes. I looked Sunday and I was up like 8-3.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm good. I looked Monday, I got killed.
I know. You had won because I finished tied. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
I thought that I figured you had won and I had tied. So I was like, well, I'm now in second. And then I saw you lost.
Yeah, I was dominating. I was dominating. I was up, like I said, 8-3 or something.
Yeah, I had been dominating earlier in the week, and then all of a sudden the wheels fell off. I was down 8-2-1 coming into the day. I did make a run on him, but I don't know what it scores at right now.
I hadn't checked mine this week, so I did the optimized lineup, but I hadn't done anything else. So I've got some injuries I'm dealing with. Mookie, that's a big one. That hurts.
Yeah, my injury bug's been rough.
But
yeah. Oh well.
Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for another edition of the Cavalier Connection podcast. Keep checking in on our YouTube channel and our upcoming episodes as we begin to break down some of the football roster by position groups. We also have some phenomenal guests coming on in the next few weeks. Our next guest will be former UVA walk-on Drew Lakey, who played at Virginia basketball in the 2017 and 18 season. I'm sure he will have some great insight into that team and some fun stories. I hope you all have a great evening, and be sure to give us a follow on YouTube at Cavalier Connection Podcast, on X or Twitter at Talk UVA Sports, or on Instagram at _Cavalier_Connection_. Any closing thoughts, guys?
Go Hoos.
Yeah, I just want to say on that interview with this coming up with Drew, you're going to get a chance to hear from you're talking about one of maybe 25, 30 people in the whole world that were in the locker room after UMBC. And we're going to get to hear that inside story. So I'm really looking forward to that interview. And as always, go Hoos.
Go Hoos.